If you cared about the environment at all, but you also needed a car and couldn't deal with a bike for your day-to-day life, there wasn't much out there for you for a long time. There are a few odd, mishmashy, almost kit car-y like things, and then Nissan came along with the Leaf. The problem was it looked like an egg, and it didn't get better range until it grew and evolved as the generations went on. On the flip side, you could buy a Tesla if you are rich. Now though, there are a number of vehicles out there that are fully electric, and the good thing about them is they look and drive like normal cars. This is the 2016 Kia Soul EV, and it's a perfect example of what a fairly, relatively affordable, all-electric vehicle means to the mass market. So on first glance, you look at it, you see a Kia Soul, and that's precisely what Kia is hoping you see when you look at the Soul EV. But there are a few things, if you look closely, that will show you that it's a Soul EV. Up front, this panel slides open, and this is where you'd plug in your charger. But to access that charge point up front, you just hit a button here, down on the dash, you walk up, now you have access to where you're gonna plug in and charge this. Now, if you notice up front, another hint that this is an EV, there's not a lot of ducting and cooling needed because you don't have an internal combustion engine in here. Come around to the side, the wheels stand out a little bit. They're clearly designed for upgraded aerodynamics along with the low rolling resistance tires. And then you get a little eco badge right here that also says electric. That's how you know you're staring at the Soul EV, but from a farther distance apart, it just looks like a regular Soul. Like I said, there's no gas drinking engine under the hood here. We have an electric motor, and under the floor of the car is a battery pack. The combined power output of this system is 109 horsepower and 210 pound-feet of torque, and it's routed out to the front wheels by a single-speed gear reduction transmission. Now, when most automakers build an electric vehicle, because more and more are adding them to their stable, they do a good job of building up the powertrain and telling you what sort of range it gets. Kia has doubled up on the whole green initiative here because inside they use something called bio-based organic compounds to build a lot of the interior panel. None of this is leather, it's a plastic, it's a material in the carpeting, in the door panels, in the seats. They're all made from bio-based organic material that doesn't harm the environment and shows that Kia is truly committed to making a vehicle that's focused on being very, very green. But with that said, it's still very much a car inside, but with some upgraded trim units like this white surround around the infotainment center, and it's mirrored down here in the shift lever area. It lends itself to giving the car a slight air of being a little bit more futuristic than your average Soul. So your average EV experience is fairly the same for the most part, unless you're playing with a Tesla or a BMW. The ride is quiet. You've got some road noise, but they do a good job of mitigating a bunch of that. The power responds instantaneously. It's like a grown-up, very nicely equipped golf cart, and I mean that in a good way. There's something fun to drive about an EV without it being overtly powerful and loud and all that. The fun comes from the fact that the torque is available right from the get-go, and you have that single-speed gear reduction transmission, so you're not hunting or shifting for gears, and it's not whining like a CVT. There's nothing to whine here. It's just battery, whir, and away you go. That's fun. Now, how far will you go? Well, according to the EPA, the estimated range for this Soul EV is 93 miles. There's a combined MPG-E rating of around 120 miles. So this competes with everything very well. It's very close in range to the Fiat 500e, the Nissan Leaf, and the Volkswagen e-Golf, all of which are also relatively in the same price range. The Soul EV starts at around $33,000. The Soul EV Plus that we're driving starts at $35,700. The Fiat 500e will be a little bit cheaper, but it's smaller inside. The Volkswagen e-Golf will be a little bit more expensive, but it's nicer inside. The one that drives the best, well, that's a toss-up between the e-Golf and the Fiat 500e. The Fiat 500e is the most fun of the Fiat 500s to drive because the center of gravity has been dropped thanks to that battery pack being in the floor. The Volkswagen e-Golf just drives like a really nice Golf, so that's comforting. The Soul EV drives fine. This isn't a sports car. It's something made to get you to and from places without using fuel, and it does that rather nicely. So one of the things that historically comes along with the purchase of an EV, especially if it's your first EV, is a little thing called range anxiety. With the Kia Soul EV, you have a clear display to see exactly how much range you have left, what that means in miles and energy percentage. But another neat feature through the satellite-based traffic system is it tells you where the nearby charging station is. We're here in Seal Beach, which I wouldn't really expect to find a charging station too conveniently, as this is an older beach community in Southern California. But according to this, there's one less than 1/10 of a mile away. It's telling me exactly how to get there with an arrow that changes as I move the car around. And I know that even though I have 35 miles of range left on this vehicle, which is plenty to get around town and run my errands, if I want a quick charge, I can do that and I'm close by. Now, if you are able to find a DC fast charging station, you can go from near empty to 80% charge in 33 minutes. If you're at a 200 volt charging station, you can do the same in about 4 to 5 hours. Now, at your average charging at home, you're gonna charge the car overnight. One of the benefits of driving an EV like this is you come to a place like this, beautiful Seal Beach, in your very green car with a lovely pier. Normally it costs money to park in this parking lot. We're in an EV. We have 2-hour free parking for electric vehicles. And that's one of the side benefits that you get besides being green and helping the environment and not paying for fuel. Now, when it comes time to choosing such a vehicle, it's gotten to the point where you get a bit of a pick that depends on your lifestyle. Do you not need tons of room in the back? Get the Fiat 500e. It's priced exceptionally well and it's fun to drive. If you want something more premium, get the e-Golf. It's a Volkswagen product with a lovely interior. If you want something in the middle with good room that looks and drives like a regular car, the Kia Soul EV might just be the one for you.